When the compass spins and points every way, we're not lost, we're just making the day. And no straight lines, it's a wavy design. The Wonky Compass says we're doing just fine.
Hello and welcome to the Wonky Compass, the podcast where we embrace the idea that life is not a straight path and that's okay. It's the podcast about exploring neurodiversity, brought to you by Lucca Skill Builders Academy. I'm your host, Philip Viljoen, and with me are not the normal people who are normally with me. Ashley and Cherie are too busy for us today doing feedbacks and reports and stuff like that. Instead, I have with me Catherine.
Hello.
Do you want to share your surname with us, Catherine?
Poole, P-O-O-L-E. It's like swimming pool with an E
Catherine
on the end.
Poole, okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be a pool, you want an E at the end so that you can be like special, like that you're not just a swimming pool.
Yeah, and I swim, so it's quite funny.
Oh, okay.
In school, I got used a lot.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
were you like a big swimmer, like
Yeah.
the galas and things? And now, these days?
Still swimming, doing long distance swimming.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. Maybe let's just talk about that.
We can talk about that if you
Sure,
want to.
swimming. Yeah, you are one of the teachers
Yes.
here at Lucca. You're not here at the skill builder side, at least not at the moment. Maybe I'll get you here sometime to get like your computer skills that you've already done the computer course, right?
Yes, robotics, coding, and the computer skills.
So if anybody, like if we get like a client in who's interested in that sort of thing, I want to get you in to come maybe
Perfect.
teach me how to do it.
Perfect.
But for the moment you are working, with what age group are you working?
They are between the ages of 13 and 17.
How many-
So teens.
And how many kids do you have in the class?
10.
10,
Yes.
all right. And that can sound pretty chaotic whenever they're out for break. All I hear is screams from that side. That's fun.
That's their normal routine behavior.
Today, the Wonky Compass has taken us into a strange new world filled with the most perplexing of creatures. Teachers. Creatures and teachers rhyme, kind of. I
It
didn't
does
realize
kind
that.
of rhyme.
Underpaid and overworked, these creatures still manage to do the impossible. They teach us stuff. And that's what you do.
Yes.
Yes. Should I talk to Ashley about your pay?
No, that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley and Jerry and Philip. No, my pay is good. I'm happy. I know when I went into the profession that, teachers are, like you mentioned, underpaid and not in it for the money. If I was doing something else for the money, then...
How did you end up here at Lucca? How did you end up being a teacher?
The long story, or you want the short story of how I got into Lucca?
Yeah, tell us the long story.
So personally, I struggled a lot in school. I was actually born quite premature. I was born at 26 weeks.
Okay.
So
That's very early.
it's very early. So
Wow.
the doctor said at the time, chances of survival back then was slim.
Yeah.
So I had squint eyes, so I had to get them repaired and all of that, and wear glasses. So when a few of my learners need glasses, I'm like, please put them on. We are very
Because you know from
strict,
personal
because I know from
experience.
personal experience, and also I know about. I didn't really need a place like Lucca, but I still felt like I could have benefited from a place like Lucca, just the environment and the support. Because I did have OT, but I was in a mainstream school, but it was maybe once off or something, and it wasn't continuous support.
So let me ask you the important question then. Are you neurodiverse?
I've always wondered. I mean, I think we kind of all wonder a little bit. I still think I have some form of ADD or ADHD because I can't keep still. I have anxiety, so that maybe doesn't play a good role. I love my job, just putting it out there. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. We're all very honest on this podcast about
but
our
lately over
issues.
the years, it's just a lot of procrastinating, and I'm a neat freak. I need everything to be organized and...
Which is a good teacher attribute to have.
It is good. Organization, people skills. So yeah, that's the longish... I won't go into all the details necessarily, but it was a challenge to be in a mainstream school and to still get a matric,
So that's interesting. I kind of ended up in this area of, or this job, special needs, education, that sort of thing, because my brother is autistic, right? So he's relatively severe, but so I got a kind of caregiver personality from that. you kind of came from it from a more personal side,
Yeah,
where you
definitely.
yourself were struggling at school, and that experience has kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, equipped you to be a better teacher in the current
Yes.
environment.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Did you always kind of want to be a teacher?
I did. When they asked me in nursery school, what do you want to be when you get older? I'm like, a teacher.
Wow.
So, quite spot on. Yeah.
Did you think you'd be like special needs though?
At some point, yes. Yeah.
Is there a certification process that you have to go through every year, like continuing educational points that you have to get?
We just have to make sure our SACE is up to date, which is the South African Council of Educators. So that one you try and do it online, but I haven't been successful. Sherry knows. Sorry, Sherry. They keep saying 30 days, so their branch is in Centurion. So I'm going to drive probably in the August holidays and just get that sorted, because I think that expires every year. So that's a yearly thing. All of us here have to do it. So
Just like a driver's license. in a
basically,
sense.
yes, it says that you're qualified, you're able to teach. That way, if
All right.
an official person comes in, they can provide you with the documentation to say, okay, your teachers at the school are qualified.
And for that, you probably need like your police clearance and
Yes,
stuff
police
like
clearance, degree, certified copy of your ID, all of that.
that. Geez, so it's a whole thing.
It's a whole process.
But it's probably good that
But
we
it's
have
fun.
that,
It's
right?
probably good. You don't want to hire someone that's like, ooh.
I know when I was working, because I would often facilitate at schools, and then a few times the school had to kind of like tell me, listen, we can't let you in unless you go get like a police clearance and all that. And not all the schools needed that, because I wasn't a teacher, I didn't officially need it. But it's happening more and more these days. I have to also go update my police clearance and
Yes.
things.
That's not a problem. It's just admin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming you don't have a criminal record.
No, I'm clean. I'm very clean.
Where do you say you're busy studying, you're doing your honors also in education, right? And do you kind of see yourself remaining in this field for a long time?
I do. I think because I'm still in my 20s, I'm not going to share exactly how old I am.
I wasn't going to ask.
No, I'm just putting it out there. I'm in my 20s. I've got energy, and I'm very passionate and people caring. What is it? People's person, as my mother always puts it.
People's person.
Yeah, people's person.
An interesting thing that I kind of realized about myself when I did when I tried to get my master's, or to get into masters, right? Which is a whole big thing. I didn't get in. I'll probably try again some stage. But that's how it goes. Like if you ever plan to do your masters, you're going to probably have to apply like 3 or 4 years in a row or something to actually get in. And that's part of what they look at for masters, is how many times have you tried? Have you just given up after the first one? So one of the things that they really kind of push you for in your masters is to kind of self-identify why should you, what about your personality or your history is leading you to the point that you kind of makes you unique in getting this master's. Why do you deserve it? And they kind of have this pattern. They have this history where they look at your history and they go, well, your history matches the other people who have done well in masters, right? So I guess it does come down to a calling for this kind of job. You don't just do this job because it's the only job that you can get, or it's a job that you go, I studied this, so I might as well do it. It's very much you need a certain kind of personality to be doing well here. Agree with that?
100%, yes. 100%, yeah. So how I came to Lucca was I was actually not expecting an interview as quickly as I did, because I started November 2023 and I was au pairing at the time.
You came here after me, actually. Which which is surprising, because I haven't been here this long or that long either.
When did you start here?
I think maybe I started affiliating with Lucca maybe a year before you got here.
Okay.
And I only started working for Lucca officially this year.
Right, okay,
So,
more skill builders this side.
Exactly.
So, I was doing au pairing at the time, and then I kind of wanted to go back into teaching, because that's what I studied, and not just to say what I studied I should be doing, but I love it and I'm passionate about it. All children, and it is a challenge having teenagers, but I've learned to have good behavioral strategies, good classroom management strategies, and we do giggle on that sometimes. I was telling my parents this morning as well about their child. It's quite funny, but as long as they're happy and the parents are happy, it's all important. And then you also get that feeling of reward that when they actually get a concept that you're teaching them, or doesn't matter how long it's been taking them to get that concept. It's just they got it and it's like, wow. And we always say small progress is still progress. So
Absolutely. So what would you say is most challenging about working with these neurodiverse teenagers?
I think it's because my class is also very chatty. They are verbal. I think, through your cricket sessions with them. Side note, Philip does cricket with my class. It's fantastic. I batted yesterday. I missed like 3, but yeah.
And that's also something you did. You swam and you
I
did
swam
cricket.
and a little bit of cricket, yeah.
Quite sporty.
Yeah. I'm very sporty, yeah. More sporty than academic, but different topic. What was the question? Sorry. I got off sidetracked.
No, that's fine. The question was, this is your ADHD kicking in, by the way. This is what's the most kind of challenging thing with the teenagers in your for you in your experience?
It's definitely the puberty. Pre-teen or currently teenagers are all going through it, and I get that. And I went through it, you went through it, so it's just trying to help them navigate what they're feeling, how they're feeling. Telling them they mustn't be ashamed of what they're feeling, as well as just, it's not really in terms of academics because they're quite an intelligent class. Also just holding conversations with them and trying not to make sure they deviate on topic like I'm doing now. But it's like, what were we talking
Great example.
about? Listening comprehension skills. I'm throwing in words here now. But yeah, no, currently it is the teenage puberty stage that is
Sure.
a little bit challenging, and we do social stories and we do class discussions, and our parents are very supportive in that. They also help at home with what we are doing here as well.
Right. So is it kind of more like the big emotions that they feel?
Yeah, emotional regulation, also girls understanding what happens to them, and then boys understanding what happens to them, and what happens if we like each other, and more friendship and crush type situations.
Yes.
It's very sweet. I mean, it's very sweet. It's just the appropriateness as well, and at school,
Yes.
we have to teach them boundaries as well.
Yes. That is one of the kind of challenging things that I've also experienced, is working with that puberty and kind of realizing, we're talking about sexuality a little bit and that sort of thing. And I end up working with the boys most of the time and working through it. But I think having kind of a woman in the class as well, to have that discussion with the girls is very valuable. And you're not the only person in the class, right?
Yes, I have an assistant as well. She's amazing.
What does she help you with?
A lot of things, like classroom management, resources, teaching. So let's say if I'm sick, she'll go in and teach. It's like, I could let her do all of it, but
Nice.
she's just amazing, yeah. And she's known the children for longer as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think she
was
started a
before.
year. You might have met her already before I came.
Yes.
So,
Awesome. All right, so tell us a funny story about something funny that's happened in your experience as a teacher.
Okay, the top of my head, I'm going to go with what happened about 2 weeks ago. No. Let's scratch that out. It happened when I first started, and I've got a scar on my forehead because I had chickenpox like a few years ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
But adults can still get chickenpox, but unfortunately that's what happens.
And apparently it's terrible.
It's
Is that
itchy,
right?
It looks like bad acne, it's horrible.
Oh, wow.
And you don't sleep and you have body aches and fever. No, I don't wish it upon anyone, please. Well, I wish I had it when I was smaller, not now. So then I have obviously a scar because in my sleep I scratched it.
Oh, no.
So one of my learners comes to me and says, "Teacher Catherine, why do you have a hole in your face?" At that moment I was like, how do I answer this question? And I actually just told them in honesty.
Yeah.
I had chickenpox, you get scars from them. Another learner overheard the conversation, said, "Oh yes, I had chickenpox too. I have a scar." And then we were all busy like touching each other's faces. I mean, it must have looked like we were busy. I don't know. If a friend were to walk in and see that, it might have been really awkward.
Well, you just told them all about it
Yeah,
now.
true. So, yeah,
Now
that
they've
was
got context.
quite, they got context. That was quite amusing.
That's fun.
But I think there's not a day in my class where I don't laugh or just giggle or smile because they're very lively students.
I think
So,
one of the really kind of special things about a class such as yours is the kids in your class they're all, like you say, teenagers, but their personalities and their cognition is at such a varying age levels. Some are at 6 and some are at 12 and some are at 20, whatever the case may be, depending on the skill and depending on that. So you still have this delight that comes in of sometimes I'm sure you have situations exactly like the
Yeah.
scar on your head about almost more innocent
It's
kind of
very
view.
sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
It's innocent, yeah. It's very funny. Still laugh about it today.
I remember as you were talking, I was working with this kid. He was also a teenager at that stage. And he had this thing where he kind of liked to get a rise out of people because that's how he socialized. And I remember him saying to one kind of high up principal level lady, "You've got a fat face."
I love the brutal honesty because majority of us at Lucca here are, not including me, well, I'm not sure, I've never been diagnosed, majority of them are on the spectrum. If not, they have their own special diagnosis, as I call it, because they're all unique.
Yes.
But I think in my class, on the top of my head, I have two very high functioning autistic learners. Another learner has slight autism. I don't think it was like formally diagnosed, but that's the ones I was talking about in the story where they're just very honest. Or they'll say, "Oh, you have a pimple here." I'm like, "Yes, I know very much. I have a pimple there."
Thanks.
Thank you very much for that.
I do know that. Thank you.
Yeah, like I saw that in the mirror this morning, kind of thing. But thank you. Yeah, but it comes in handy. I mean, they're very honest. So
Yeah.
it just took some time getting used to. I was like, okay, it's not a criticism. It's just them seeing how it is and
It also means that
socializing and communicating.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and that they're not gonna get away with something, if you know what I mean. Like working with your neurotypical kids, it's almost more complicated because they're like they can be a little bit difficult
I
sometimes.
think they understand too much as well.
Yeah, they can be a little bit
Neurotypical
conniving.
children,
Yeah, they've got more skills available to them. One thing I was telling somebody else about yesterday was I teach kids to lie sometimes, which is a little bit controversial.
Interesting.
But the whole point, especially for like the teenagers, such in your class, is when you're trying to build social situations, and especially as you get older, like you've got a job or you're in a situation where you forgot to do your homework once and the teacher's going to be like really mad at you. Not that I think you would be or whatever,
No.
but that's actually an appropriate time to just tell a little white lie. And maybe I'll get a few emails about this statement, but I do think that it's important, you know, that brutal honesty that a lot of our kids have kind of just teach, you know, it sometimes stabs them in the back a little bit, you know, and it doesn't allow them to navigate social situations very well. So you've obviously gone through a journey and you're a special needs teacher now. What kind of advice would you give to somebody else who's looking to be a teacher? Or people who are currently studying to be a teacher, who are a teacher with special needs kids at the moment, but they're struggling?
I would just, I'm a very motivational person, so I think due to circumstances and that when I was born, but I mean, I've had the thing of never give up and take each day at a time. And if you have that motivation, and of course, Ashley and Sherry hired us all to do a job that they know we can do. And the nice thing about working here, the wonderful thing, should I say, sorry, not nice, wonderful, emphasis on that word, is that they don't micromanage you. Such as other schools. We do prep and we do everything like that. And I think also if there are teachers struggling to speak to other teachers, so if another teacher of mine, or not mine, a colleague of mine needs help, then we just support each other like that. Also, I think if you can keep learning still continuously to learn, because we learn every day through our children in the class, but also we learn from each other as well.
I think having that support structure within your work environment is very important.
I also think so.
We were talking about depression last week. And
I did listen to that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. And one of the things that came up is that within our field, the depression, anxiety, it's a big thing that comes up in our field. And I think one of the key ways to combat aggression is to have that support structure. And I know that in my experience, you know, I've got a wife, I've got friends, but I can't always explain to them the situation that I'm going through with this or that. They'll be sympathetic, but they won't understand the deeper kind of emotions that I'm going through there. So having people that are doing the same job as I am, who I can kind of lean on a little bit, is it's such a powerful thing to have. And that's definitely I see it here at Lucca. You guys do
Yeah.
support each other a lot.
I think also with I thought of it now, is sharing ideas, because maybe not necessarily a concept applies to my class only because they are older. It can apply to all of us.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what age the child is or what diagnosis that they have. So
that don't get stuck in your methods.
yeah, and like a textbook. That's what I kind of want to say. Like, don't get stuck in a textbook definition or textbook way of teaching, because we all teach differently.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
It's important to note, because there's also a self-confidence thing that comes into it, right? Of, am I doing the best that I can do? And the fact of the matter is, you know, you as a special needs teacher being there and doing the effort means that you're doing like 400% better than anybody else in that moment, you know. That you're already like 80% of the way there by just wanting to be there, right?
It's true, yeah.
And then, you know, so as you say, continuing your studies, learning more, learning from the people around you, all very important points.
Also having support, either if it's from each other or family members or friends, or
yes,
I think most of my colleagues here have their own children, so I think also relying on their own children helps.
You don't have your own children?
No.
20-something and you don't have children yet?
No. I have a class of 10 already. Those are my children as well. So I just word it to the parents like that. I'm like, yeah, treat them as if it was my son or my daughter. So
Sure. Not yet. All right. So what's an important message that you want to give parents?
I think just, well, from the bottom of my heart, and everyone here as well, but mostly for me, is just thank you to those parents who go above and beyond and sit and do homework with some of the learners in my class, because we give them extra, like, I don't like to call it homework, but some of them do like to do homework because they have neurotypical sisters or brothers.
Sure, so they want to
feel
be
like
the same
they are
as
doing
them,
homework, yes, and make them feel equal. I think just saying thank you and keep doing what you're doing, and like I said earlier, take each day at a time, and yeah, they're amazing. Yeah.
I agree with you. You develop into a very interesting person when you've got a special needs child. Hopefully we can get a few of the parents on here soon, so we can chat to them about
mine,
it.
if you're not shy, please come. I'll sit with you if I have to, don't worry.
Sure, that sounds great. There's the invitation right there. Next up, we've got an interview about neurodiversity and sexuality, specifically LGBTQ+, and the overlap between that and neurodiversity. I realize this is somewhat of a controversial topic, but I think it is very important that we talk about this, since it does seem to be a large aspect, people who are neurodiverse, a large aspect of their lives. And I don't want to exclude any neurodiverse people from this podcast. So if it is something that they're experiencing, I think it's something that we should be talking about. I also just want to say that there is some topics in here that might not be appropriate for more sensitive listeners, such as we do talk about abuse and sexual abuse, and there's some swearing, and obviously we talk a lot about sexuality. So I hope you enjoyed the interview and find it as interesting as I did.
Do you have an opening jingle that we can sing along to?
Yes.
Yeah, there's an opening jingle.
What's the opening jingle?
I don't
Do you
know
have sheet
how
music?
it goes. The Wonky Compass. We're not lost because the Wonky Compass tells us where to go. Something like
very
that.
Okay, so we
catchy,
don't need an opening jingle. We'll just sing it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Today with me in the studio for an interview, I've got three people. I've got Mitch. Mitch, say hi.
Hi.
All right. Charky.
The chaos reign.
And Danie.
Hello.
Wow. Okay. So you guys are here today to have a chat with me. Don't tickle each other in the middle of the interview. Don't tickle me in the middle of the interview. Thank you very much. So I did send you guys the questions and stuff. We're
No, you
gonna.
didn't.
No, you didn't. You sent it to Charky.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that doesn't count.
Did Charky share it with the rest of you?
No.
Maybe.
Okay, so this would be surprising for everybody. Then this is an ambush. Be prepared to be ambushed.
Yeah, we
No.
already explained to Donnie it's an intervention, not an interview.
Oh, I see. Intervention. But let's be clear though. We will talk about some sensitive things. If you guys don't want to go there, you absolutely don't have to. You can just say, "Well, I don't want to talk about that," and I can even edit those parts out. All right. Okay. So
I don't
and
want
it's
to talk about that.
Yeah, you can edit that.
About what?
Editing.
Yeah, just
Edit. You don't want to talk about editing.
That,
Oh, I see. Okay.
It sounds like work.
what are those?
I don't know what those are.
Okay.
Okay.
Good talk.
Can we focus?
I am
No, that's the
focused.
problem, right? So that leads very clearly into my first question for you guys. Are you neurodiverse?
No.
Then what are you doing here?
You asked us to be here.
So, thus, I did not share the questions because they're clearly in denial.
Obviously, okay, I can see that.
I'm the only one in this room that is agreeing to being neurospicy.
Well, I think Danie might be the only one diagnosed.
No, I'm not even diagnosed.
Oh,
so I'm not neurodiverse, I'm neurospecifically weird.
Neuro weird.
Yeah.
So Donnie, tell us a little bit more about that.
No, thank you.
Fine.
Okay.
What do you
can
want
say-
to know?
Like how do you view yourself?
In a mirror.
As?
In a mirror.
How do you
What's your
see
favourite?
yourself in, like, you do you see yourself as part of the neurodiverse
Yeah.
community? Why?
Because I don't feel typical. I was going to say normal, but that's bad.
Oh, is that bad? Is that a bad word?
That's a bad word.
How do you feel?
I'm okay, thanks. Thanks for asking.
How do you feel that's not typical?
I don't know. I just struggle to focus, think, carry on in a straight line, not be silly.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm staring at the
Really?
microphone.
Well, yeah, you don't need to actually look at the microphone. It can hear you without...
Yeah, but I don't want to look at you.
Oh, because you're neurodiverse and you don't like making eye contact.
No, it's because
Oh,
it's
okay,
you.
I see. Oh, okay, I see. Charky, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm me. And I'm weird as can be, and I'm rhyming and being tickled. Okay, so yes, I am neurospicy because I get distracted a lot, and I'm a little bit autistic because people do dumb stuff like communicate on other levels.
What makes you think you're autistic?
I don't understand normal, in quotes, social cues and stuff, and there's the eye contact you mentioned.
We're still trying to figure out. They're still trying to figure out if they've ever been embarrassed before.
Oh yes,
Oh, okay.
like I understand concepts like embarrassment, but I don't know the actual feeling. So yeah, there's stuff like that.
So you've never done anything that afterwards you kind of wish you hadn't done, and you feel the pressure from the social people around you, their disapproval. You've never had that experience?
Not in combination. I've had people disapprove of things, but I've never regretted.
And how do
something.
you feel when they disapprove of you?
Fuck them.
When
Yeah,
they
that I swear a lot.
Yes, all the time. Donnie swears all the time.
I'm like that's one of the things, actually, that I don't swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can move on now.
No, well, yeah, you've told me that you just don't find swearing comfortable, but you're fine with everybody else doing it. Yeah. All right, Mitch, what do you have to say about neurodiversity and yourself?
I think I was diagnosed with ADD when I was very small.
Ah.
But I also think that the doctors recommended to my mother that she should put me on Ritalin. And there's a stigma around medicating kids back in my very small days.
Sure, there's a stigma back then. Yeah.
There was
Mitch is very old.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
so my mom was like, no, I'm not putting my kid on drugs and moving on. And I've not really focused too hard on that part of my existence when I was younger because of all the trauma and whatnot I was going through. But as an adult, I, pick up the signals. Danie got diagnosed or figured out he was ADHD, and I started linking back that I've got a lot of the similar problems. And then Charky made me take some kind of
The
test.
RODS test.
What test?
RODS test. RAADS.
All right, where did you take that?
So,
Online.
So I got the link from Rue, who got it from their therapist.
Okay,
So a legitimate RODS test.
sure.
And I scored very high on that.
What does that mean?
You're a
Apparently I'm autistic. but I don't think that's true.
Why not?
Because there's no chance that I'm weird like Charky.
No, it's okay, mate. You're weird.
Well, that kind of brings me to my next question is... Go ahead, Donnie.
Are you going to go to the next question on your list?
No, not that one.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
I just
is
wanted
that
to know-
bothering you that I'm not going to the
No,
next
I'm still wondering what the first question was because I don't know if I answered.
question? You did, don't worry about
But
it.
what was the first question?
Are you neurodiverse?
Oh, yeah, I would like another try on that.
Okay, go for it.
I think so.
All right.
So I was diagnosed, thank you, Mitch, for reminding me, with ADHD. But I also think I fall in the autistic spectrum somewhere because, people keep telling me that. It's like, have you had... No. And I also did that whatever tests.
Yeah, and you didn't score as high as me, but you did score on the might have autism. I will say that my therapist has mentioned that I definitely have ADHD. So although I haven't got like an official diagnosis, when I was speaking to my therapist and I was saying how it's easier for me to say I've got ADHD than to explain that I've got chronic PTSD, which is the reason for a lot of my tics. She's like, you know that you've got both, right? I was like, okay, no I didn't, but thanks.
Charky, it's now your turn to speak.
Okay, but before Charky goes, I'm just joking, go.
Okay with that. So it was, yes, I also have not been officially diagnosed. However, when I went to see the therapist for the top surgery, he asked me, is there anything else I'd like to discuss? And I said, well, I have the inkling that I might be. And he was like, oh yeah, 100% within the first 5 minutes I met you.
So that also segues quite nicely into kind of what our topic is today and kind of why I brought you guys in here. And that is to talk about neurodiversity, but also the overlap of neurodiversity and LGBTQ+. Right?
Which Danie is like a leading member of.
Yes, Danie is...
That's why we said it's an intervention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm a cisgender heterosexual guy. I'm definitely on that.
And we're kicking him out of the closet.
Don't worry, Donnie. I am also cisgender heterosexual, so we are even in the studio right
Cool,
now.
so let's go make out.
Okay, let's go make out. So I'm going to get boring for a second, and I just want to talk about some studies that I found. Because the question that I asked myself, and that I'll ask you guys as well, is how much overlap is there, right, between neurodiversity and LGBTQ+. In one study, Weir and Baron Cohen, the study is called The Sexual Health, Orientation and Activity of Autistic Adolescents and Adults.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
No, Weir and Baron Cohen.
Oh.
Those are the two authors.
I thought you were talking about Borat, so come on.
This was published in the Autism Research in 2021. So they had 1,183 autistic and 1,203 non-autistic participants in a self-report survey. We know that self-report surveys aren't the great or the greatest way of doing this, but it is something. Autistic adults are approximately 8 times more likely to identify as asexual or other sexuality, in brackets, other, or what do you call it, quotation marks, other sexuality than their non-autistic peers. That's a conclusion that they got. So 8 times more likely, all right, to be part of the LGBTQ community.
Ooh, I've got an answer.
Yes, what's your answer?
To the first question.
Yes.
No, I'm just joking.
But you're back to the first question.
No, to this question. What is this question?
It's not a question yet. I'm just reading like some studies that I found about it, okay? Can you hold on for 2 seconds? No, don't tickle me. All right.
Also, don't touch the thing.
So there's...
Which thing?
That thing.
There's a lot of studies about this, and so I'm just going to like go through 3 more. This study was done by Bayers et al. In 2012. In this study, and I quote, one study estimates that between 42 and 69% of individuals with autism spectrum disorder identify as same-sex attracted or a sexual minority.
Ah, that's the question I have an answer for.
Yes, what's...
So, I think that when you are neurospicy, or not divergent or whatever, you are more accepting, or you become more accepting of others and yourself.
So why do you think that?
Because I'm very accepting of others. Not myself though.
Yes, we discussed that last night.
Yeah, but I'm, I don't care if you twisted, a pretzel or a cheeseburger.
I genuinely thought you were going to say a twisted cryptid.
Twisted.
Why would I say that? There's
Like
no
Bigfoot.
reason for me to ever say twisted cryptid.
He got the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So what game?
Twisted
Cryptids.
cryptids.
Is that an actual game?
Yes.
Well,
From
now I have to go
Tea
look it up.
Turtle.
It's the same people who made the commanding element things.
Command of Nature.
Whatever.
And Unstable Unicorns, and Casting Shadows, and Here to Slay.
So Danie, that's interesting that you say that. You said you're heterosexual and you are.
But then again, labels.
No, sure.
You guys.
We're just using these labels to kind of categorize what we're talking about, right? We don't necessarily have to fit into them, but you're heterosexual and you're neuro-spicy, as you say, but you find it much easier than what you perceive others to be accepting of people that are fitting into other minorities, such as the LGBTQ plus minority. Is that right?
I lost you halfway through, but I think so.
All right. Just proving my point there, thanks.
You just went a little bit while I was thinking of the next question.
Oh, I see. So let me quickly talk to the LGBTQ plus people. Yeah, how do you guys identify? Charky.
Sharky.
Charky.
Oh, okay,
Charky.
that's me.
We identify Charky.
Oh, okay.
Yes, everybody wants me. Anyway, I am a trans individual on the non-binary spectrum. Underneath the non-binary spectrum, a demi-guy. So I use
So
he,
Maui.
him, and they, them pronouns. As long as it's not she, her, I'm good with it.
All right. And Mitch.
I am a cis male.
What? Get out of here. We already have enough of those.
Well, if you want to identify as that, what's in your pants has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I guess that's fair enough. That's a good point. Make me feel bad here, Dottie.
So I am also transgender. Just normal flavor, not binary or anything. But I am ace aero as well.
What does that mean?
Asexual, aromantic.
Arrow
I
is
see.
that chocolate that.
Oh, yes,
and
that
that's
is that
also
one.
my favorite kind of chocolate too.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ace is your
Do you think
favourite
maybe the arrow turned you?
No.
No, you don't think so? That's
No,
not.
no.
Did it
That's
turn
a-
You heard it here first, folks.
Chocolate. The kind of chocolate you eat defines your sexuality.
Yeah, so basically that just means I've got no sexual interest in another human being and also kind of no romantic attachment to another human being. Although I'm literally engaged to Charky, I'm happy with our relationship where I sleep in my own room and we're basically best friends, but we're not like kissing and cuddling and writing poetry together.
I mean,
You're not?
we cuddle and we ride together, but not kissing.
So yeah, I just,
Well, does licking count as kissing?
but I lick you too.
Depends how romantic it is, I guess.
You see, that's the thing I was thinking is, because my therapist and I talk about this a lot, whether I'm a romantic or not. And the thing is, a lot of the feelings I have for Charky, I also have for like Danie and you. And it's not like, oh, Sharky's elevated amongst them all. It's just Sharky's more compatible with me on a relationship level. I don't know. I'm happy to marry Charky, but I'm also happy to live the rest of my life with Danie. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not a poly.
All right. Cool.
I'm also happy with that. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Oh, also, yes, I forgot that too. I'm agosexual, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
on the ace spectrum.
So
So-
same on that one.
What does that mean exactly?
Like dinosaurs.
Oh, is it like dinosaurs?
And so it means I do get turned on, but not by other people.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So essentially, an agosexual is all for sex between others,
All right.
but not don't touch me.
Don't involve me.
Yeah,
I'll
don't
sort
involve
myself
me.
out.
Oh, I see.
So, like, I read a lot of fan fiction, and I like AI.
Spicy chat.
Yeah, I don't know what it's specifically called.
This is the adult part of the conversation.
This is the part I warned about, which you didn't hear, which I'm going to record later about. This is the part that maybe you shouldn't let your 16-year-old listen to quite yet. But I think this is still, we're
Yeah,
joking,
it's
still very valuable information that
Yeah.
should be spoken about.
I don't
A
think that,
16-year-old will most likely be able to teach us things about this that we don't
Oh,
know.
that's a good point. But it's up to the parent, right, to
Yeah.
decide
so
where they want to
I
go
think
with
the
it. So,
problem is, as a young adult, the concept of asexuality was not very forefront for me. So for a long time, I thought, okay, I've got certain expectations of a relationship. I've got to put out, as they say. And if I don't want to, or I am uncomfortable with it, then there's something wrong with me. Likewise, when you do get to a point where you're like, okay, I've heard about asexuality, but that doesn't define me, because I still like to read fan fiction and read spicy chat and stuff like that. Or, read manga that's quite explicit. I'm still into that. I might still get turned on, but as soon as another person involved, then I'm like, oh no, I'm out, tap, tap, tap. And then you think, there's something wrong with me. I'm clearly fucked in the head.
and I can imagine that your sexuality is the only thing that made you feel weird, because you are also different in your brain's different, neurodiversity,
Yeah,
right?
so obviously not the only thing, but it was one of the really big things, because I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and I said I find it very narrow-minded when people say, oh, this is being forced down my throat, when they see a gay couple or a mixed-race couple. And I said, yeah, name one animated show for kids where there isn't either an explicit straight relationship involved, or where characters kiss.
Yeah,
Find me one.
yeah.
Because as a kid, as an adult, and it's really hard to find content out there that has an asexual relationship in there. So, and the same with neurodivergent. It's hard to find content out there that really isolates neurodivergent characters.
Yeah, it does justice to them, because there's a lot of shows out there where they're taking like extreme examples of neurodivergence, which nobody can really identify that well with.
Yeah.
Like the Good Doctor is a good example. I love that show. It's great. The actor is amazing, but he's such an extreme genius.
Yes.
That it kind of, there's like very few people that would
Exactly. So then
identify with him. Yeah.
You go to work and you offhandedly say, oh, I register as autistic, and they go, no, you don't. You don't look autistic.
Yeah,
And
because
you're like,
they look
okay.
at the Good Doctor and they go like, that's
and
what
they just
autistic looks
assume,
like.
And it was an
You hardly
autistic
bang your head at
person
all.
can't speak English, stuff like that. And so you look at yourself and you go, well, clearly I don't belong in the society, because there's no representation of me, and there's no information out there that says this is what you're experiencing.
It's interesting, some of the stuff you were explaining, I could also kind of resonate with, because growing up straight and heterosexual, white
and
male, a straight white male, there is also a kind of expectation on how you should be behaving sexually and in relationships and that
Yes.
sort of thing, which I find it hard to identify with as well.
Does Afrikaans throw into that as well? Straight, white, Afrikaans male?
I think so, because Afrikaans, I don't want to kind of identify too much or stereotype too much, but there is slightly more conservatism in Afrikaans culture, I think, and slightly more of that hunting male stereotype, which there's nothing necessarily wrong with, but which I just, couldn't identify with at all, and I felt kind of lesser because of that. And I must imagine that was like times 10 for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of our expectations of what life's going to look like revolve around the media we presented with.
Yes.
And the media we're presented with looks one way, and then you look at your friends in schools and they also look that way. I mean, for a period of time in high school, I got labeled as a lesbian just because they'd never seen me with other boys.
Mm.
And I used to get these awkward, invasive questions like, are you a lesbian? And that kind of, it sort of does spin off the lack of education on these topics just in general.
Mm. Do you guys think that your sexuality and your neurodiversity are related?
See, we talked a little bit about this last night, and I said, I don't know, because I think a lot of my neurodiversity comes from the trauma I experienced as a kid.
Mm.
I know I was diagnosed with ADD before all the trauma, but a lot of who I am today is because of the PTSD.
So before I go on, I'm going to ask some questions of you, which I know that some people would ask, but might not be the most sensitive questions.
Yeah.
I'm just asking them so that people listening to this can kind of hear your side of it, right?
Yeah.
So just like stop me if it is something uncomfortable. But the question is, do you think that your PTSD has caused your sexuality and your neurodiversity?
I think my PTSD hasn't caused my sexuality. That is something we did do extensive investigation in during therapy. And I don't think my sexuality is linked to what happened.
So that's a question you've asked yourself.
Yes.
Is, am I this way because of what somebody did to me?
Yes.
Or which is still you, right?
Yeah.
Or was I born this way? Is this part of my biology and who I've kind of grown up to be?
I think I was born asexual.
Okay.
I don't know if the ADHD and autistic traits were born out of the trauma or if I was born with them. And for context, my trauma revolves around sexual and physical abuse. So that's why it makes sense that the question comes up, am I asexual because of the sexual abuse? And I don't think so. I think a lot of the sexual abuse was born out of the asexuality, if that makes sense, because the person in question always said he was trying to teach me how to be a real woman. And I think maybe it bothered him that I wasn't that into it. I don't know. I was 8. I can't tell. I think 8-year-olds should be asexual.
Yeah, I think that's a good policy generally. I don't think lots of people are going to argue with that. And if they do, they're not very good people.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I think that's an important question to ask because that's one of the narratives out there, right?
Yeah.
Is abuse or trauma or something makes you behave this way. And it's not really who you are. That's some of the narratives I've heard.
So, from what I understand, because of course the first time I got diagnosed with having PTSD, I went and did all the research, which apparently is an autistic thing. But how I understand the brain works is during a traumatic event, your brain pushes all the brain power to the fight or flight response to help you survive. And during that process, it takes a lot of power away from the part of your brain that conceptualizes memory. So it ends up with these very strong memories of what happened without the context that says that happened on X date with this person, all of that. So if you go to a Comic-Con, you can think to yourself, oh yeah, that was in 2016 and Danie was there and we saw this. That context you can't really easily retrieve during a traumatic event because the brain takes less resources to put that information in place. That's why flashbacks happen. Because your brain goes, ooh, I know this experience, but I can't remember the context around that experience, so it must be happening right now. And that's where flashbacks happen. So for a long time if someone yelled at me, I'd instantly be back in the abuse. And I couldn't really figure out why the person who was my boyfriend or was my father suddenly was my abuser in my head. So with all that being said, trauma, what that does is sort of changes your brain in the sense that there are these very blatant triggers that your brain can't cope with because it can't provide the context easily. But I don't think it changes your sexuality, all that kind of stuff. It might trigger intense fear around it. But that's something you can work with. If you can pinpoint, oh, I get this flashback, these trauma responses because of fear, you can work through that using cognitive behavior therapy. So when my flashbacks or trauma kicks off, I have to sit and go through certain processes. I have to ground myself. But I've never had any of those kick off in a sexual context. I've just found that the feeling of being touched is not for me.
So something, part of this narrative that you're kind of touching on and that I think is important to get across is this idea that you haven't really examined yourself properly, and this is like a phase or a reaction.
Yeah.
That your autism or your ADHD or your sexuality or whatever it might be, is you reacting to something bad that's happened. It's not really you. You haven't really spent the time examining yourself and faced your problems.
Yeah.
And that's why you're behaving this way. But what I'm hearing is the opposite.
Yes.
I'm hearing that you've spent quite a lot of time examining yourself.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of time trying to identify who you are. And this is the conclusion you came to.
I think people who are sitting with situations where they might think they're autistic or might think they're ADHD or might think they're asexual, because they're confronted with so much of problems and backlash and feeling like there must be something wrong with them, they spend a lot of time introspecting what the fuck's wrong with me. I don't think any of them sit there going, well, I am the way I am.
Yeah.
None of us go that way. We sit there going, there's something wrong, I need to figure out what it is. And most of us sit there going, it can't be someone else's problem. We don't like relying on other people. We're brought into this situation where everyone goes, why can't you be normal like everyone else? And that kind of rejection makes you go, yeah, why can't I be normal? I need to figure that out myself. I need to go and fix myself. So we tend to not want to make our problems other people's problems. We spend a lot of time trying to work out how do we be normal.
All right, thank you. Charky, let's pivot over to you a little bit. Why are you so quiet over there?
I was trying to figure out what those were.
I really
Weird
asked
thing
that
on the wall
question.
is-
You did, but I'm trying to find an answer. No, question.
So did you hear anything that Mitch just said?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think Mitch is very wise and has done a lot of work on this. So that was good words.
Good words.
that was my answer.
So once again, what I think is going to be valuable for listeners here, because this is a podcast for neurodiverse people, is to hear these stories about how someone's examined themselves and figured out where they are. Charky, you at one stage taught me something very interesting, which I thought was also very wise, when we were talking about somebody I know who is going through these questions about their neurodiverse and they're asking questions about their sexuality. You said, your sexuality doesn't have to be the same tomorrow, right? It's not like, okay, I've decided I am now gay and that is now the rule for the rest of my life, written in stone, and it never is ever going to change. For some people, maybe that's the truth, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about your kind of journey and what you think people should hear.
So, with my journey, I grew up not knowing any of the terminology we have today, like non-binary and asexual and agosexual. So, I grew up knowing that I don't quite fit in, and I always try to explain it as I feel like a gay guy trapped in a lesbian's body.
Yeah, it's like, but wouldn't that, wait, that's minusing a negative. What's happening?
Yes, exactly. So it was very confusing for me. And I also, something that I think a lot of trans people would say, trans males specifically, is, I mean, I've always been one of the guys. I struggled to get along with girls because they were always talking about things that I found so boring. Like, I don't know what the thing is with Brad Pitt. Why does everybody love Brad Pitt?
It's the jawline.
And then there's the makeup tutorials, which even as a LARPer slash someday hopefully being a cosplayer should be interested in. I'm like, I don't get makeup.
Well, there's that guy we found recently. There's this TikToker. He's like a very redneck American, and he starts a lot of his things like, yeah, people have asked me to teach their young boys how to be real men, so I'm here to help you. And then he goes into this lovely tutorial on how to use makeup, and he's really good at explaining things. Like Charky said, the first video I sent, he talks about foundation, and he said they've watched so many makeup videos and never understood the point of foundation, and he explained it.
Yeah, that was on the trans side. As for the asexual side or the agosexual side, another question that you get a lot is, yeah, but don't you think you've just been with the wrong people?
Yeah.
And
Really insulting.
The scientist in me went, okay, autistic side, activate, spreadsheet of every single person I've been with sexually, triple digits. I have experimented. I know where I stand, and it's a no thank you, please.
Once again, you are not confused. You've done the work on yourself. You made a spreadsheet.
It's so bizarre to me how hard it is for a asexual to conceptualize being asexual. I've once had someone look at me and plainly go, "Oh, you don't know what you're missing out on. Sex is amazing." And I've been like, I mean, I've had sex. It's not that great. But there's this disconnect between an asexual and a sexual person, and it feels almost like hard to even explain the difference.
I think it's easier for the majority, right? Because we have a paved road, if that makes sense. So as much as I was earlier saying that, yeah, there was this stereotype of what it is to be male, and I didn't quite fit into it, I still kind of fit into it. You know, there's still a lot of what I do, which is very easy for me to do. It's very accepting. I can act in a certain way, and nobody's going to blink an eye at that.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do as much introspection. I should, right? But it's much, I'm kind of not as well trained because I wasn't forced. There was a paved road saying, well, you just do this, act this way and you're fine. And then everybody's going to be happy with you, right?
Yeah.
You guys didn't have that. Yeah. What do you think about that, Danie?
What do I think about what?
Danie been sleeping over there.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping. I was just in my own head. So
What were you thinking about?
stuff.
You want to tell us?
No,
Okay.
Cryptids?
no. It's this conversation. The theme of today is as far as I know, is the neurodivergent and sandwich.
The sandwich.
I'm happy for you to say that.
I call LGBT whatever the sandwich because LBT.
Oh, yeah. What I'll be. Oh, okay. I get
lettuce,
it.
bacon, tomato. I just call it the sandwich, but in a very light-hearted way.
Yeah.
So it's about neurodivergence and the LGBT whatever plus that. It's like what I have isn't really part of what I have to say is not really part of that theme.
But you are very deeply involved in that.
No,
even though
I
you
don't go
belong.
to pride marches or whatever. It's like I support these two as much as I can, but
Point in case.
but I don't do the things. It's like I don't really care. As much about it as you guys.
But I think that's a great point, though. You don't need to be dressing in crazy outfits and going to Pride to be an ally and to be a supporter. You just need to treat people like people.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you actually need to do.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
Like you said, you find it very easy to accept people.
Yeah.
As a cis white male, I don't think that quality is common. There are a lot of people who don't find it easy to accept an LGBT person and will go out of their way to make their life difficult the moment they know they're not straight. So you just doing you and being there for us and, you know, being grumpy but coming to fetch me when I need help, or being grumpy but taking me home to a doctor, that means a lot, because your ability to accept a non-straight person is a big deal in this world.
It's like I am grumpy, and a lot of grump comes from looking at people and just not understanding how they can be so stupid. You know, and I mean stupid as in, it's so easy to accept others. Why don't you just accept others? What does it have to do with you? You know?
And I do think, though, like what Mitch was saying, that the people that are actively hating are also a minority, right? I think most people are somewhere in between, are average people who don't know as much, you know, that's kind of what this is about too, and just don't have the experience and don't know what to do about it, right? So, but it's those people that do hate have a very loud voice in our society. We also need to have loud voices, which is unfortunate that we have to be screaming at each other.
So there's this animation that I quite like called Ruby, and there's this scene quite halfway through the series where one of the characters is trying to convince people around them to stand up for a certain cause. And she says that her people are just as capable of being monsters as the humans, but none of them would jump at the bit to say that. But why are they letting someone else talk? Because when you stay quiet, that guy's voice represents you. And it's that notion that makes me speak up against things. I'm not trying to convince people to think a different way. I think people who have come up with a decision on how they're going to think, I'm not going to change that. They need to introspect that and think about it. I'm not going to sit there and go, you're wrong, and they're going to go, oh yes, I am. But for every person out there who thinks one way, there are 10 people around them who haven't made up their minds. And when you don't provide the counter argument, you've essentially allowed those 10 people to join that side, because that's the only argument they can hear. That's my opinion. Like for a flat earther, if there aren't globe earthers around there saying, no, but have you considered this? Likewise, if there's no flat earthers out there saying, but have you considered this? Then the people who don't know where they stand will gravitate towards the loudest voice. And it's the same with LGBT. If there's a lot of people saying gay people should die, and there's no one staying going, but they're just people, then all those people who have no opinion now have an opinion.
Yeah, and it's hard work. You know, I don't blame anybody for not spending their entire life researching every social issue there is and trying to, okay, well, where must it go? Because that's really hard work and not possible for a lot of people, right? So having counter voices out there is really important. I agree.
And I don't think everyone should counter voice, but I think people who, like, as a member of the asexual community, I think I have a responsibility to counter voice because I know what I'm talking about and I have experience.
And there's a lot of people in the same boat, but the situation is too dangerous for them to speak up.
Yes.
So we have to be extra loud to make up for those who aren't safe enough.
Guys, I've got one last question. I want you guys to give some advice to the neurodiverse people listening to this podcast.
Don't be afraid to be yourself. It's hard, especially when you're young, to think, okay, but if I'm myself, I'm going to lose people. Those people you're going to lose, they're not your people.
Right.
Be yourself. Be neurodivergent. Be proud of that. And if there are people who have issues with that, if you don't have issues with a certain aspect of yourself, then you've got no business thinking about that. Be yourself unapologetically and let the people who will love you find that. Because when you pretend to be something you're not, you build these really strong connections with people who wouldn't love you. And the stronger you become confident in yourself, you start revealing those parts of yourself that you kept hidden, and it's painful losing those people that you became really attached to, but the truth is they didn't want you. They wanted this version of you that you were putting on.
Yeah.
Be yourself, attract the people who want you, and build those connections with those people. Don't waste 10 years of your life building connections with people who don't want you.
If it's safe.
If it's safe, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So, agreed. Do what you need to do to survive, but don't confuse that for needing to assimilate for the rest of your life. Make sure that you are doing what you need to in that moment, but keeping in mind that your journey is your own, and as soon as you have the chance to get away from that unsafe environment, you need to be ready to shine like the diamond that you are. And,
Yeah.
and if not for yourself, because a lot of people will convince themselves, yeah, but it's not like my life matters anyway, so I might as well just keep my head down. So if not for yourself, think of all the other people who feel like you, who might not make it through, and shine for them.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing we didn't really touch on at all, is the depression and anxiety that goes with neurodiversity in general, but also just more the situations you find yourself in when you are different.
Yeah.
Right. Guys, thank you so much for coming today and to do this interview. And that's all we have for you today. We're putting away the compass until next time the journey calls. Our outro comes from Nathan. He says, listen to the music and don't worry about it. If you, the listener, would like to help me with my outro woes, please email your suggestions to thewonkycompass@gmail.com. The email address will be in the show notes. You can also email any comments you have on our content or any suggestions for topics you would like us to talk about. We are eager to engage with our audience, and thank you for listening. And it's not like you were just saying banana, unicorn, face drum. You were actually talking sense, so...
Face drum.
Banana unicorn makes sense. Charlie.
Okay, just so you guys know, I have started recording, because sometimes it's fun to catch crazy things happening. No, don't
Hello,
tickle me.
is this thing on?
Yes, it is on. Don't hit it.
You say
Yes,
crazy
it
things and
was.
then you say don't tickle.
No,
you're like,
don't.
You're sending mixed messages.
Donnie, can you swap with Mitch, please?
No, I can't.
I was like, Philip.
Yeah, no, I don't care. You can. I've got Phil, I've got Felipe, I've got Dr. Phil.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
There was a show, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
terrible.
okay.
I hate to be associated with Dr. Phil. He's such a crank.
Dr. Philip.
Yeah, but I'm also not a doctor. I'm not allowed to say
Yeah.
that.
Mr. Philip, there you go. Mr. Fullion.
Where's the closest hospital?
I don't know.
That is such a shark answer.